Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ad America with me, Andrea Oriel, as your e-guide for today. If this is your first visit to Ad America, we are the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. And our event for today will be AmCham's 7th Career Fair, Jumpstart Your Career, where we are going to gain valuable insights to accelerate your career journey. But before we jump into today's event, we will be hearing some opening remarks. So first of all, I would like to invite the Counselor for Public Diplomacy from the U.S. Embassy, Pat Jason Repulse, to deliver his opening remarks. So Pat Jason, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ad America. On behalf of the Embassy, we are so glad to have you here today, and we're really proud to be partnering with AmCham for this career fair event. I know this is the second time we've been doing this career fair here at Ad America, and we're really excited to have an opportunity to welcome American companies and other members of AmCham to join us and help young people and people that are mid-career professionals look for new opportunities. In addition to having some amazing companies and organizations represented here to meet with potential job seekers, we're also going to hear from a series of speakers and have some interactive programs. And so I wanted to thank all of our participants for coming out here today and being a part and sharing your talents with us. This whole project is in support of our joint goals between the United States and Indonesia. We have a really broad and deep economic partnership with Indonesia. We're really proud of that, and it continues to grow and deepen. But I think the most important thing at the heart of our partnership is people, right? It's Americans working here in Indonesia. It's Indonesian students studying in the United States. It's civil society organizations collaborating. It's our corporations and our industry working together on taking on some of these challenges that are just the hardest things that we're doing right now. And so at the heart of everything we do in the United States and the Indonesian partnership is you, and it's us. And so we're really proud to be able to partner with you today to offer this kind of opportunity. I have a couple of people I need to thank. So I wanted to thank all of the different companies and organizations that are present here. There's a ton of booths outside. So I hope you have a chance to check it out and see the different opportunities that are on display and learn about jobs and internship opportunities that can be that you might be able to seek. I also wanted to thank all of our speakers. There's going to be a great session after today's opening that I hope that you can stay and participate in. So I just wanted to say again, thank you very much. Welcome to AmCham, and thank you to our partners at AmCham for offering today's opportunity. Terima kasih banyak.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Jason, for the wonderful opening remarks. And now for the second opening remarks, I would like to invite the co-chair education committee from AmCham Indonesia, Bu Maya Nelson. Bu Maya, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here. This is such an exciting time. It's always a wonderful opportunity to be able to invite and engage with young people from around this country that want to seek a new path, that want to look at new careers, that want to have conversations about next steps. And we're so delighted that so many of you are participating. I want to take a few minutes to thank, as Jason did, some of the people who have been involved. First and foremost, this is a collaboration between the American Chamber of Commerce and AmCham and the U.S. Consulate. So thank you so much to all of those people in both of those organizations, AmCham and AmCham, for all of the work. It took many, many, many hours to put this together. So thank you to those individuals. Thank you also to all the speakers, all the guests that we have had here that have lent us their wisdom, their expertise, so we can learn more about how to find jobs, what trends are in the business world, what trends are globally, what's important here in Indonesia, and so that we can grow as professionals and support one another in this endeavor. Then as well, I'd like to thank the companies here who are sponsoring this and supporting the conversations for all of these young people. Cargill, PepsiCo, RSM, GIS, ExxonMobil, Center for Indonesian Policy Studies, Honeywell, Apple Academy, Colliers, Vision Ease, USAID, and Starbucks. Again, many of these are returning organizations, returning companies, so it's wonderful to continue this partnership and work together. I hope that you have a wonderful and successful time here. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you to Jason for the opening remarks, and we look forward to getting to know you in the coming hours.
Please stay.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Maya, for the opening remarks. And now I would like to invite Pak Jason, Bu Maya, our moderator for today, Pak Jeffrey, and our speakers for today, Kak Maris and Kak Iqbal, to take a picture together. And now I would like to introduce you to our moderator for today, Pak Jeffrey Haribowo, Corporate Affairs Director from Mars Wrigley, Indonesia. Now, Pak Jeffrey, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. I almost dropped this, so but clearly I'm not. So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is excited for the weekend. And so, before I start, thank you again. I just echo for what Pak Jason and Bu Maya has mentioned earlier, that it's very exciting to see the young people to be here and to learn more about how to pursue career, or even I understand from the AmCham committee that we also have some experienced people mid-career who are also here, and hopefully what we share today can be helpful for you, how to further your career, and also we can learn more from our distinguished speaker that is here with me today. The first, so before I start, please allow me to introduce to you. The first one is Pak Maris Rahadian. Selamat sore, Pak Maris. Good afternoon. Pak Maris is Country Human Resources Director for Cargill. Pak Maris Rahadian is the Country Human Resources Director for Cargill. He has worked for over 8 years at Cargill. And previously, before Cargill, previously also in Cargill, Pak Maris was Employee and Industrial Relations Director and also HR Operation and CC Lead. Pak Maris also has experience working in other companies, including automotive and also electronics industry, Pak Maris. And what's interesting, even though that Pak Maris is working for human resources now, his background is actually Bachelor of Applied Science in Agrometeorology from IPB. I will let you explain what is agrometeorology later, Pak. But for our next speaker also, please allow me to introduce to you Pak Iqbal Akbar. Pak Iqbal is the Lead Strategic Marketing and Business Development Manager from Honeywell Southeast Asia. Pak Iqbal, before his current position, Pak Iqbal was the Business Development Senior Analyst at Chandra Asri Petrochemical, and also has worked with ConocoPhillips and Inpax Corporation, and also marketing and business development manager. But his background is actually he's engineering. He got his bachelor degree from engineering, physics engineering from ITB, and also Master of Science and Engineering from Ghent University, along with a Master of Business Administration and Energy Management from Technische University in Berlin. So, without further ado, I think I would like to understand first, Pak Maris. Maybe some of you have heard about Honeywell, but maybe also many of you haven't heard, or maybe just heard about Cargill this time, because I know about Cargill because Cargill is a partner with Mars, it's a supplier for Mars, but it's mostly B2B company, business to business. So, Pak Maris, can you first tell us about what Cargill is and what you do? Please, Pak.
Thank you. So I have no surprises when everyone knows hearing Cargill doesn't know what company stands for, what business we are playing as a core business. So basically, Cargill has embedded in each product we are consuming every day. You name it. If you feel something sweet in the carbonated drinks without any fear about the calorie numbers, that's Cargill sweetener product, right? And then if you think that if you are using the toothpaste every day, Cargill is in that product. And then if you are visiting McDonald's once in a week, for example, we are supplying McDonald's Indonesia because we do have the Cargill protein, having the manufacturing facility as well to supply chicken nugget to McDonald's Indonesia. So basically, Cargill is in everywhere.
Okay, but
So
we cannot go to Cargill directly. I mean, as a consumer, we cannot go to Cargill.
yes, because our mainly model is B2B
Okay, business to
model
business,
business.
Pak,
Yeah. So basically, as the global operation, Cargill has more than 155 years. Precisely this year, we're gonna have 158 years old, and then we are working in 70 countries, and then our workforce is 160,000 employees. And then our main sectors in agriculture, business, animal nutrition, and financial industrial. And then you can see in the slide that our purpose is to nourish the world in safe, responsible, and sustainable way. So that is our purpose again. And then this is one of our big business in Indonesia, plantation. You know, when you are having a business in plantation, basically pretty much your product is in everywhere as well. And then this is for Indonesia. I'm not having appetite to share all of those figures because we can see it from other information. And for Indonesia, we started the business back in 1974. And then we are having 20,000 plus employees. We are operating in more than 60 locations. Our headquarter office in Jakarta. And then our business comprises from animal health and nutrition, corporate tropical palm, food solution, and protein. And then this is our main business in Indonesia, as I shared earlier. And this is the main location. This is only main location, not including the sub main location in Indonesia. As I shared earlier, we are having 60 location in Indonesia. And then animal nutrition and health pretty much is kind of the feed nutrition. We are having manufacturing facilities in Indonesia. Precisely, we are having 6 locations in Indonesia. Tropical palm, we are mainly having 3 main locations in Indonesia. Copra, we are having crush copra facilities in Amurang, Manado. And the last, not but at least, the youngest business Cargill have in Indonesia is joint venture business with Java Food. We are having joint venture facilities in Boyolali, which I shared earlier. We are supplying products to McDonald's Indonesia. So please be remember, every time you are visiting McDonald's Indonesia, you are visiting one of the sub-product of Cargill in Indonesia. Food solution, one of the famous product is sweetener. As I shared earlier, that every time we are filling sweeteners and carbonated drinks without any worry in terms of the calorie number, that's our product. This kind of the footprint of the latest investment in Indonesia, we are having 2 main big investment in Indonesia. Back in 2021, we are investing around 200 million USD. And then the last one, we are invested around 100 million USD. So that's Cargill in Indonesia. I believe this is your first time knowing Cargill more details, and I believe you are having curiosity to visit our LinkedIn, our website, or any information you can find in internet. Thank you. Back to you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak. Okay, just before I continue to Pak Iqbal, just I'm curious, just by show of hands of the audience here. Sorry for the audience who are watching online. I cannot see you raise your hand, but by raise of hand for the people here in the audience, how many of you are a fresh graduates or never have worked professionally before in a company? Just by raise of hand. Okay. How many of you have some experience and you are looking to get to know about how the future of your career would look like? I mean, how many people who have experience? Okay, so we have a very good mix here. I think in between the audience, I just remember not so long time ago when I first, not so long, it's just a few years ago when I started my career. I was curious actually. I was worried. I was a fresh graduate, and how would I perform in front of recruiters? And I think that's what also in the mind of some people here. But I will go to that question after this to you, Pak Maris. But Pak Iqbal first. Honeywell, Pak. What is Honeywell? I mean, I'm familiar with Honeywell because you have some consumer-facing products. But
Yeah,
what is actually Honeywell, Pak?
all right. So thank you, Pak Jovi, for your introductions and the curiosity to the audience on Honeywell. So basically, Honeywell is not madu baik ya in bahasa Indonesia, but Honeywell is a technological company. We do have like a range of products ranging from aerospace until safety and productivity solutions. We are a company, a conglomerate technological company that has been established more than 100 years. So we witness the changes of the global technology landscape. We witness also how the technology can basically change your life. So if you go to a Kopi Kenangan, Pak, or example, or Starbucks. Starbucks is also like one of the company that also participate in this event. And then you want to pay something, yeah. So like you will see the barcode scanner. That's what we call it. It's Honeywell products. So that, for example, if you want to scan something, the barcode scanner is actually Honeywell. And then if you go to the hotel, for example, and then mostly American chain hotel, the thermostat and also the smoke detectors is, thank you, Pak, is actually Honeywell products as well. So that's one or two products example that coming from Honeywell. But more than that, you do not see that directly, but we do have like some equipment on that as well, some products on that. So if you go to, for example, if you take the airplane, yeah, and then you on board for the first time and you feel that there's air conditioning, like the light is on, the cockpit is on, Honeywell, like mostly like 70-80%, we supply what we call as auxiliary power unit that become the first engine that supply the electricity in most of the airplane today, like either it's Boeing or Airbus, before the jet engine running out, before it start to run, yeah. So that's one of the example as well. In Indonesia, we know that we have gasoline as well, yeah. One of the license to produce gasoline is also Honeywell. So it's kind of ranging product diversity. So coming from aerospace, Honeywell building technology, and then what we call the chemical until safety and productivity solutions. And on the bottom of that, we are a technological company. We want to shape the futures. That's why we do have a lot of innovations and patents. Honeywell have more than 35,000 patents around the globe. We are committed to the futures, to sustainability, to a sustainable futures, and we also kind of like want also to grow the talents also to be able to get a good how to challenge on the sustainability part and climate change. So that's quite a intro on Honeywell.
Thank you, Bible. That's very interesting. Let's give a round of applause as for the first part for the introduction, Pa Maris and Pa Iqbal. Thank you very much for that. And I think since now the title is the career fair, I think I will first go to Pa Maris. As an HR country director, of course, you and your team would be responsible for recruitment. If you can share about what kind of attributes and qualities that Cargill is looking in a prospective candidate, and also how do you feel about? Okay, wait. Let's start with that first part. How do you what qualities and attributes that you look in a candidate that fits to Cargill? I mean, let's start with that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question because sometimes we are being stranded in the essence that between soft skill and hard skill, right? And then I believe everyone in Indonesia, including our youngster generation, which is fresh graduated, they are having quite relevant hard skill, right? And soft skill as well. The things we are doing different in Cargill is we believe the foundation for everyone can be a better person day by day is very important. So that's why we are introducing the Cargill values. The Cargill values comprises three main factors. The first factor is reach higher, and then the second one is the put people first, and the last one is doing the right thing. I think those main fundamental values must be nested in every job seeker in Cargill, yeah. Right? Because we believe by implementing those values, we are not creating someone from zero to hero, but also someone who can be consistently becoming a better version day by day. Because if you're talking about hard skill and soft skill, we can educate. We can create so many things about learning and development program, yeah. But three main foundation must be nested in every job seekers in Indonesia, including global talent. So that's why we believe in Cargill to find out the right talent is to find out the talent whose the gap is very least with our level. For example, if you are looking for production worker, yeah. You are having the certain level that must be fulfilled by each job seeker. So we find out who's gonna have the least gap of those value for each level until the director's level. So I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Pak Maris. That's very interesting that you mentioned about there's this inherent value and qualities about the soft skill and hard skill that is learned and earned, the soft skill and hard skill, and also the gap or the closeness that they have with the Cargill values, and that has to be in a balance, right? So that's also a critical skill that you in HR has to have as well to identify that in a candidate, right? You need to also have to have that. And I will jump then to Iqbal. I know the values that Pak Maris mentioned earlier about the Cargill value. Honeywell must have that also the same value that you are looking in a candidate. But as I know that you are not an HR director, but I believe that you are a supervisor and you will also be involved in a recruitment process for your team. What would you look if you are recruiting for your team, for example? What would you be looking for in a candidate?
Yeah. So Honeywell is a company of innovation, and we believe that the value of diversity and inclusions can push innovation, yeah, so that we can answer the challenge, the global challenge from our customers. Again, technological, like it's rapidly evolving, with all these semicon, with all of this big data, and we have witnessed that for 100 years, yeah, we have witnessed that. So what we are looking for first, like people who believe that having like an inclusive and diverse environment can push more, like the way you work, that can create also the environment that is comfortable for people to speak out, to work with. And then the second one that, what we want to see from our candidates is the one that understand the technology is actually can change the world and also can change our life, such that, like he must be or she must be adaptive. He must be also like able to learn things fast or the new things as well. Whether it's for engineer, for example, or maybe for sales, for marketing, or even like for the back office as well, because like everyone in Honeywell, we need to understand and we need to be able also to present Honeywell as one Honeywell, the technological company that also can be a bridging, from for the customer as well, like to because like we want to hear as well from our customer, like what they really want in terms of what they really need, so that at some point of time we take that feedback to do our innovations and then offer that as well to them, that like what you're looking ahead into the future is actually can happen to our customer. Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm talking about innovation, but we are also talking about right now about how people continue to innovate, and then we also realize that the consumer demand also change as the generation change. Now we are working with, we are the millennials or we are the older generation, and now we are working a lot with Gen Z. How does company value change to adjust with the Gen Z, or should the Gen Z adjust to the company culture? That's a question that it's still a lot of debate in that sector. But I think I don't know, Pak Iqbal or Pak Maris, you want to take that this first? Okay, Pak Maris. Silakan Pak Maris.
Yeah, it's always interesting when we're talking about the gap of the different generation, right? The things that we believe in Cargill is that everyone must adapt, right, including company. When we see the changes coming from the workforce coming to the company, we need to adapt. The adaptation that we believe being implemented, it works is the how we can be as the catalyst from our older generation workforce to the younger generation workforce. They have to know what is the independencies of the character between those different generation. From the younger generation, we can learn about the impulsiveness in a good way, right? And then we can find about the fresh ideas and out of the box. But from the older generation, we can learn about the persistency, consistency, agility, and respecting each other. So I believe every company has struggling to find out what is the best formulation to dilute all of those contexts to make it one context for everyone can achieve the target.
Okay.
Not only achieve target, but also exceeding the target, right? So we do have some of the program implemented in Cargill, which is combining the needs of the younger generation and an older generation.
Okay.
And then it works. So that's why we are seeing another 150 years being existed in the world and then supporting to nourish the world. So I think that's something that we need to be mindful. And for us as the individual, we need to see what kind of the benefit we can take by communicating our ideas and accepting a different perspective from others. Like Honeywell representatives say about the diverse, right? Diversity we have to see not only by physics. For example, some companies have a target to have a female leaders representation, but also they have to see about how to create the diverse mindset. For example, we are inviting so many person coming to one place, coming to one meeting, discussing so many things, but we have to have the one aim to get a conclusion. What can we do to get a better result, for example? And then we have to make sure that everyone can be heard to create an inclusive environment for us to have a better decision to represent all of the interests from that meeting. And then we need to make sure that everyone who was invited to that meeting has a space to share the ideas. And then we have to make sure everyone can have a courageous to share the ideas, not only being formal invited to meeting and then take notes and then receiving all of the notes. But we have to contribute to that meeting. So that values introduced by Cargill 5 years back, and then we are implementing up to now, and then we believe that it works to make younger and older generation respecting to each other and then come up with a good idea and a best solution.
Thank you, Pak. So actually, the keyword here is embracing the differences and make them collaborate to make the seamless connection, between the two. And what about in Honeywell, Pak Iqbal? How would Honeywell see this generational gap? Not only of course, in the customer side, but in internal in Honeywell, and related to the career path and everything, and the workers employees relation. How do you see this generational gap?
Yeah. So we see this as not a threat. Yeah, we see this as opportunity as well for our company, because again, that like when COVID-19 come, like everyone needs to adapt. And then we see like this different generation coming into the same workplace. There will be challenges, there will be a conflict, but everything needs to be in a healthy relationship. So what we want to create again, one of our value is inclusion and diversity. Yeah, it is right. From Cargill is saying that like inclusion diversity is not about the race, but also like how your mindset is and how the your generation looks like, as such that we can challenge ourselves, how to answer the conflict that we have. I mean, it's not a conflict, it's kind of like how we can collaborate together, to answer the challenges coming from the customer, for example, or coming from situations. People like want to answer about the climate change, for example. If we do not keep our eye and ear open, so that like we will not hear a fresh idea, and then we know that like younger generations can think out of the box, so we can kind of like put that in one table, and then we sit together. If there's some conflict happens, we have to make sure that the conflict is in a healthy environment, like it's a healthy conflict situations, such that we can work it together, like to answer the challenges. And that's what Honeywell looks like.
Thank you, Pak. Wow, if we are talking about conflict resolution, that will be another 2-hour session, Pak. But I think we still have a few minutes before we go into the Q&A session. But I would like to also invite our audience who are watching from home, from the office, or from anywhere, we also open the Q&A channel through all the medias that you are watching from. If you are watching through Instagram, you're watching through YouTube or any other channels, please submit your questions, and I will have it in my tablet here, in my on my tablet, and I will read it for you, and hopefully it can be answered by our panelists here. Before I go to the Q&A, I have my own cues, my own questions for you about um, your view about, for example, Pak Iqbal. I will start with Pak Iqbal first now. Your educational background, Pak, is all in engineering. I mean, you have one um, business of administration MBA, but it's still in energy management. So basically, it's still, you started as an engineer, um, but now your role is on strategic marketing and business development manager. That's a bit deviated from what you studied. I mean, for me. And I think that will also be some questions from our audience here in at America, or in the audience watching at home, about how should they pursue their career? Should they fit the field of study that they are taking now, or is there opportunity for them to explore um, beyond what they are studying, or even for the audience who are mid-career already? Maybe one day they wake up and think that, hey, I think I might want to change my career path. I want to shift. How do you see that? Do you have any advice, or do you have any thoughts as a recruiter, or as a supervisor, Pak?
Yeah, so you're right, but like for me, like it's a journey.
Hmm.
Like the second thing that you mentioned, right? So it's a journey of learning. It's a journey of committing as well,
Yeah.
on your on what you are doing, on what your occupation is. As just that, in my experience, like that's true. I was engineer. Yeah, was I used to work in offshore environment, for example, like for around like 2 years. I ConocoPhillips that time has site in Natuna, yeah, and then uh, I go there like for projects, or maybe like for short-term projects and maybe long-term projects, for like 2 weeks, far away from Jakarta, as such that it's also like challenging me to do something more, like beyond that, beyond the engineering works. And then what I see is that the transition that I have, like the turning point, is that when I was working for Inpex corporations,
Mm.
and then I see that the business environment is sometimes is not triggered by the engineering itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So like for example, like we have these big projects, and then the project is really really good. The design is good. Yeah, it can be like it can be like uh, lighthouse projects that can be uh, having everyone proud of. But then like actually the business environment is more beyond that, as such that that I'm then trying to learn about business, and I feel convenient with that. Yeah, I feel my comfort is there, as such that I think that I thought that time, like I want to change career.
Yeah.
And then the changing of my career, of course, like it was helped by my degree, because it's like business administration.
Yeah.
And then I applied a position in Chandra Asri Petrochemical, and I have opportunity to learn more. And then now I am in Honeywell, like as a lead
Okay.
strategic marketing. So I think it's true. It's a journey for me,
Yeah.
and then it result from my journey, like contemplating, and also like working uh, for engineering, and then going to the business
So
side.
it's more commercial, yeah.
Yes, correct.
So it's never stop learning. I mean,
Never
also
stop learning.
learning on
Yeah.
the fly.
Yeah, it's learning to fly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not a fit one fit reason.
One side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
like for everyone, like
Yeah.
everyone can have their own opinion, but for me, like keep challenging yourself, and it's
Yeah.
also a journey.
Okay. Before I go to Pak Maris, this can be, I mean, the same question for you, Pak, about because you are also applied science, then you move to HR. But before we go there, um, you must have heard people saying out there. I will use in bahasa Indonesia for this. Ah, lu mah enak, beruntung kerjaan lu enak, gitu ya. Is there such thing as luck, Pak, in job career or in a when you're looking for a job? Is there such thing as a beruntung? I will go first to Pak Maris and then Pak Iqbal.
That's good question, which is I don't have any confidence enough confidence level to answer that, right? The things that I would like to share is am I lucky enough to have my role now in Cargill, or am I lucky enough that I have a journey of career path? But the things that I would like to be to be mindful and then saying and confidently is what I am getting it now
Hmm.
is something that I'm deserve to get it,
Okay.
right? Please be confident to yourself.
Yeah.
The second thing is I'm lucky enough to have an appropriate mentor who are believed to my competencies. I think that's something that need to be resonate time to time and communicated to younger generation, that having a very and what you call it trusted mentor is very
Mm.
very critical.
Okay.
Mentor can be your friend. Mentor can be your senior in high school, or your teacher,
Yeah.
or everyone, as long as you are convenient enough to share your feeling, as long as you are trust enough to receive a feedback from your mentor, please do it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to divert your question about luck,
No. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm just sharing my feeling now, and then what I do believe that having a mentor is very very critical nowadays.
Yeah.
Since I would like to share that Cargill has the global program in terms of the Cargill Global Scholar,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of a 2 years leadership mentoring program for selected undergraduate student in Indonesia to have a very very sophisticated leadership model in Cargill. And
Okay.
then one of the program is the accompanying them with the right mentor
Okay.
for them to achieve the target,
Mm.
and if possible can exceed the target of their lives.
Thank
So
you, Pak.
having a mentor is very important.
Having a mentor. Thank you, Pak Maris. What about you, Pak Iqbal? What do you think about
Yeah, it's quite tricky,
luck?
tricky questions. Yeah, but for
Yeah.
me, I believe in luck in such a way that there is you you get the opportunity because you are in the right time, in the right place, with the right person. Just for example, like the mentor. So
Yeah.
that's luck for me,
And with the right set of
with the right set of
skills and
mind as
everything
well.
that you have
Yeah,
set, right
correct.
set of mind, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So network maybe for the audience here being here is one of the opportunity for them to
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
just
correct.
for you to, if you want to learn more later on about Honeywell and Cargill, they have booths outside. So I think you will stay here as well after
Yeah.
the talk show.
Yeah.
But you can always
Sure,
and
sure.
you're open for discussion with them.
Yeah, of course. Why
Yeah.
not?
Okay. Yeah. So silakan nanti ngobrol. Okay. So I think now I'm going to jump to the audience. No, no, not jump. I mean, I'm going to open the floor to the audience. Anyone who wants to ask question from the audience here in North America? I haven't seen anything from the social media, but please raise your hand. Okay, I have someone there, and then I'm trying to find. Okay, please, ini baju kuning, the with the guy with the yellow sweater. Yeah. So please mention your name. I think if they want to do it in bahasa Indonesia, that's also fine. Yeah.
English fine?
I will. English is fine. Indonesia is fine. I can translate for you, whichever your convenience with.
English is alright.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So hi, my name's Raka. I just so happen to be a Gen Z fresh graduate. So I had one question, I think specifically for Pamaris, I guess. So you mentioned those things about values outside of hard skills and soft skills. So my question is like, I'm a firm believer of show don't tell. So like outside of the CV, how would we go about showing that we have these values, or rather like if we look at ourselves and see that we don't have these values, how would we go about learning or building these values so that we get higher chances of being recruited? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Raka. I think this can go both to Pak Maris and Pak Iqbal ya nanti. Yeah, okay. Pak Maris, you want to go first? No, I mean let's go. One question at a time.
Yeah. So I believe every recruiter, which is owned by each company around the world, having the psychometric analytic skill, right? They can see the potential of the people. Just only spend 5 minutes conversation, right? And then the things that you are asking, I believe is something that can be identified easily by a recruiter. I bring some Cargill recruiter here. Even I was hired by Cargill by this lady Indira. I, the things that I would like to emphasize in terms of the value is something that we are not really mindful in terms of the consistency for the values itself. Uh, we are really emphasizing in terms of the how we can make sure that our employees can be a better person day by day. Ultimately, they can be a best version of their lives, because we are talking about compliances. We are talking about the what you call it, respecting each other, because you're talking about doing the right thing. For example, we believe by implementing doing the right thing in Cargill is not always we are doing the right thing when we feel convenient.
Yeah.
We have to confident enough doing the right thing when we are not comfortable to do it, to do
Yeah.
this. That's one. And the second one, when we are having the values, put people first. Not just because we are respecting each other, put people first. We are not addressing the bad performers. We have a courageous, for example, each people manager in Cargill educated to address the bad performers. Even we need to, what you call it, to have a courageous, even the conversation lead to determination. I'm sorry, I need to address that context. Last one, when we are having a values reach higher, it doesn't mean that we need to reach higher, but at any cost. We need to respecting the value. We need to respecting the culture. Even we need to respecting the norm of the country. So that's why I'm really emphasizing those value, not what you call it, not minimizing the context of the context that you are mentioned about learning and development, or learning ability, or learning type. So I think that's the things that I would like to emphasize, not undermining other contexts in terms of the psychology or any potentiality of the learning capability of the job seeker.
Yeah.
Hope I answering your question. if you
Thank you.
if you don't, let's talk outside.
Dibawa keluar nanti. Okay, that's from the perspective of a recruiter ya, Pak Raka. I think I will also to seek for the view of a user, because I think Pak Iqbal, you would be the user as well in this scenario of the recruitment process. How would you answer that question from Pak Raka?
Yeah. So, Mas Raka, if I can suggest you something that like you have to keep your eyes and ear open. You have to challenge yourself as well. Don't be afraid of challenges. Like if you outside of your CV, like if you want to participate in organizations, if you want to challenge yourself by having like competition, for example, if you want to learn things, yeah, do that. Like even though, for example, like you might not love it, because you actually you actually can know whether you like it or not when you're doing it, right? Or when you are completing something. So this is something that the user can kind of like see as well. Like how you adapt with new things. Again, like it depends on the company, it depends on the environment. But in Honeywell, we kind of like technological company. We see a lot of changes. Yeah, we want to see your adaptability skill as well. So always encourage yourself. Always challenge yourself to do something new that you never been done before, and then learn from that. So I think that's my point. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Iqbal. I think I also want to share my experience. 2007, it was my first job interview, fresh graduate. I haven't even had my commencement yet. Just finished my thesis and everything. Was looking for a job. And my first job interview was with ExxonMobil back then, 2007. And you won't believe what was the first question asked by the recruiter at the time. So my background is from social sciences. I was applying for the job of communications officer at the time. The question asked by the recruiter was, "What was the last movie that you watched?" Yeah, I mean, it's about how they try to vibe with you first. How they try the chemistry is also would be very important, because I asked after that, after I got admitted and everything, why did you ask me that question? Is it relevant? And she said, what's important for me is for me to connect with you first and see if we can work together. Then that then that's the where the hard skill would come in. So I think every recruiter would have different strategies, but yeah, open your mind, open your eyes, uh, and be adaptive about the. Thank you very much. So I will go to the next question after Mas Raka. Anyone else from the audience? Yes, over there. Oh, okay, okay. Who's from this? Anyone from this side? From my left hand side? No? Okay. Silakan. Oh,
Hi.
after this, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi everyone. My name is Rania Arabella. I recently graduated last year, and currently I'm working in a startup, going on almost 2 years, still in my early stages. And I'm actually currently looking to make the switch to, let's call them non-startup or like quote unquote other conventional companies. And I find that one of the challenges that I have had during like application processes is how to translate what I kind of do in the startup to a language that other people in a non-startup or people who have never worked in a startup understand. Because the thing is, I feel that the things that specifically for me in my role, I actually work in finance, but finance in a startup and in other companies are very quite different, be it the workflow, the SOP, or even the systems that we use. How do you think is the best way for me or maybe some other candidates here? Uh, any tips for us, people who are first experiencers in the startup, in order for us to make the move into like a non-startup company? I think that's it. Thank you.
It's a good question. Think who wants to take first? Of course, Pak Maris.
So if I understand your question correctly, so you are working now with the startup company, and then their colleague coming from a well-established company, and then working together with you now in one
Wants to
company.
make a career change
Oh, career
from
change.
a startup to a corporate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how would she translate her experience in startup, which is sometimes a lot different than how we do things in corporate? How do they how should she translate her startup experience to the corporate world?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
uh, so we need to understand that every established company, they are starting a startup company as well, right? You name it, Google, Alphabet company, right? Google is like startup company 30 years ago, and then Microsoft doing the same. Even Cargill, 150 years ago, is a startup company. So you need to have a confidence level that they are a well-established company having some of the journey in terms of the evolution, in terms of the culture, right? So the things that I would like to advise to you is again, right? I'm borrowing your statement. Please open your eyes and ears, and then please be agile. You have to make sure you have to believe that what dream that you're gonna achieving, there is a sacrifice you needed to do, right? The sacrifice I mean is you need to learn more in terms of on how you can be adapt to the new culture within the well-established company. And I believe every well-established company having the onboarding program. The onboarding program, we call it as in Cargill, we call it as the Cargillized the new employee. So we are educating new employees by our culture, our values, to have you a better person day by day. And you are not alone. There's a bunch of people new joining, coming to that company as well. So again, I would like to emphasize, please be agile, and please be believing to your dream to make sure that you can adapt well to the well-established company.
Thank you, Pak Maris. Pak Iqbal, do you have any view on this?
Yeah. So I believe that like you've been working in startup, you're doing well, but you want to uh, switch your career, right? It's mean that you actually have been doing these finance activities for quite some time. First, whenever you see a new vacancy positions, like I'm interested with this, yeah. First, please do small research, yeah, on the company, what value they have, yeah, because sometimes you can find that in the internet, you can find that also in their website as well, and try to think, how you fit with the value of the company, and then you do the narrations on your CV and also on your cover letter as well. Like when you starting like, yes, I'm interested with this, and then how just like put yourself, like after a small research on if you are already working, like for that company. So skill, you have the skill, so you don't have to be worried. So it's just like how you fit yourself into the value of the company and how they work, like because I believe that like the information is there. You just have to do a small research, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Normally, like if you are want to make career switch career to business development or marketing strategy, for example, you have to kind of like read also the annual report, but it's just too much, yeah. But like everything there in the website. So I encourage you, to have to spend like 5 minutes before you like do some makeup on your CV and also your cover letter.
Thank you, Pak. You are actually stealing my last question. I have in my note that how to prepare yourself for an interview before applying to a company. But anyway, thank you very much, Pak Iqbal. I will go to I think we still have time for one last question, and I believe I saw a gentleman over here. Yes, Pak, please.
Okay. Hello, I am Hubert. Currently, I'm not working, but I'm an alumni from Apple Academy.
Wow.
From cohort 2020. So I want to ask two questions. Number one, I curious about the legal if we, all of us, maybe accepted on maybe Cargill, Honeywell, or other companies that like open currently in the front at the booth, like the legal is under USA or Indonesia. That's my question number one. And number two, okay, I'm personally interested to work efficiently, but I was like try to plan day by day, but it's so many changes. Like I plan A in calendar, but the B and C is more important. So any tips for day-to-day planning? Yeah,
Very
because
good.
I'm currently 2 years of working experience right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Gilbert, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good question. I also experienced the prioritization and everything, yeah. But again, maybe the first one, Pak, about the legal entity and then the...
So Cargill operating in 70 different countries, right? And when you are submitting your CV, we are opening the possibility for you to be employed in any Cargill operation around the world. If if your CV, your competencies fit to Indonesian Cargill operation, of course you gotta use the legal entities of Indonesia, Cargill Indonesia. But if you fit to Malaysia or Singapore, even to Europe, Cargill operation, there's gonna be legal entities must be abide your employment context, right? And then please be flexible on that, because we believe any employment law around the world having a very small differences, right? There's not gonna be huge difference from Indonesia to US, for example. So I think you should be fine as long as you can be adapted to the difference of the culture we have, right? And the second question, I was resonating to the context that being mentioned by moderator is prioritization. It's something easy to be mentioned, but it's very hard to be implemented, right? The tips that I would like to share with you is keep practicing to identify the 30% of your effort can be impacted to your 70% of your result. For example, if on daily basis you are having 10 different tasks, you have to identify which uh, three of your three out of your 10 activities can be impacted to the to the 70% of your best result day to day. So day by day you have to practicing. We call it as the Pareto philosophy. What you call it?
Principle?
Pareto principle.
Yeah.
30% make impact to 70% of your result. So you have to identify that. It's not easy again, but I believe you can do it.
Thank you, Pak Maris. Pak Iqbal, final answer.
So final. So for Honeywell, it's Indonesia, but so like you're not going to have like a USD salary. It's going to in rupiah. But of course, same like Cargill, like Honeywell is a global company. I was hired actually when I joined Honeywell for I was hired for taking care like business development and marketing for Indonesia and Philippines. And like 2 months ago, I was promoted to taking care Southeast Asia. So I still stay here, yeah, but like my role is expanded, to taking care of Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and also Indonesia and Philippines as well. So it's still in Indonesia. It's where the point of your hire is Indonesia, so it's still Indonesia. That's the first one. And the second question is that
About how to stick to what you want
Yeah.
to do of the day. To the day.
so like practically you have to understand which one is important and which one is urgent. So you can make like a small matrix. I mean, if I assume that like you there is like this important matrix and then the urgent matrix. If it's important and if it's urgent, yes, do it now. But if it's not important and it's not urgent, you can just put that in your bucket list in your parking lot, and it's resonant as well. Like you have to understand which one is impactful for the day, but of course you can also take a look on which one is important and which one is urgent for that current day, so you can kind of like do some the prioritizations in your to-do list. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pak Iqbal and Pak Maris. That concludes our discussion for today. Thank you, Pak Iqbal, Pak Maris.
My pleasure.
And thank you for the audience. And I have a confession to make. I forgot to mention that we have a gift from Honeywell for people who asked for the audience. So it's over there. I forgot to mention. But after this, we have 3 questions, right? Earlier, we will Iqbal will hand it over to the people who asked earlier. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And please, we will have a mock interview and a CV review after this, and also our partners booth are outside. Please feel free to reach out. Pak Maris and Pak Iqbal promised, no, actually Pak Maris promised to reach out to you after this. Please, thank you very much, Pak Maris, Pak Iqbal, and wishing you all to have a good weekend and enjoy the exhibition outside.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Jeffrey, Pak Maris, and Pak Iqbal for the very informative session. I hope it was helpful for everyone here. And if you enjoyed today's event and are interested in our next event, please follow us on our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at AT America, and please consider subscribing to our newsletter and YouTube channel as well. And with that, I think we have reached the end of today's event. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you at the next At America event. Thank you.